Hi everybody, it's Faye. I'm also known as the Tattooed Psychic. I'm out here in Granite Falls with the beautiful Shakti Moon at her beautiful home on the river, y'all. It's so beautiful and peaceful. So we just thought we'd make a little video for y'all today so you can get to know Faye. So you can get to know me. Hi, Shakti.
Hi, Faye. I'm excited to be here. So first of all, I wanted to just say that I've known Faye for a couple of years in the community of arts and healing and whatnot. And she has told me about a podcast that she's wanted to do for a little while now. So she's ready to launch this thing, the Seattle Freeze. So I'm here to just kind of have her tell us a little bit more about what this Seattle Freeze podcast is all about,
Right.
what her intentions are with that, and a little bit about you.
Well, the Seattle Freeze podcast. Now, I have lived in Texas and New Orleans. And on my travels across the country, you meet people who travel to Seattle. And it's all over social media about the Seattle Freeze, right? The people of Seattle aren't very nice. And, it's just, to an extent, it's kind of true. They're much more shut off than in the South, that's for sure.
Right.
But what I found is, once I let that guard down and I opened myself up, I found people like you creating belly dance and art and music like your husband, and I found different bands and different business owners who had great business ideas, and I'm like, you know what, people need to be introduced to the cool people of Seattle who aren't
famous.
Yeah, right.
Seattle famous, baby.
Seattle famous. And so that's the point of Seattle Freeze, is I'm going to be interviewing local businesses, artists, music, belly dancers, whoever, healers, whoever, because Seattle does have a huge healing population and stuff like that. That's what Seattle Freeze is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I get to meet more people.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Right.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about you. Give us a little, but without going back to day one.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Day one is where it started.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly. Brought you to Seattle, and why the freeze is your passion here.
Well, I was born and raised in Seattle. Anyone who follows me might know that I have, a history of domestic violence, survivor of domestic violence, and all of that. And basically, my story is I turned my life around from surviving trauma as a child and trauma as a woman who kept attracting men who liked to abuse her because of my childhood, blah, 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 blah. It's a pattern. In the 90s, I was a singer in bands, and I was all over the grunge scene and knew a bunch of awesome people. And then I left the music scene and I went into spirit, and I found myself traveling the country as a psychic medium, doing psychic shows. I produced and starred in and created Spiritus, my live psychic show. And I did that for a long time, years. And I don't want to do a show anymore like that. Now I'm at a place where I still have spirit and I still do my spirit work, but now I want to connect people and heal people through love and community. That's basically my story. There's a lot more in between, but you have to follow the podcast and my Instagram to know all the story. But yeah, that's about the gist. I'm a believer in love and the power we have to create the life we want by exuding love and kindness. And that means we have to get real with who we are. And it's not always pretty for people to face themselves. I've had to. And so I'm here to help people face themselves and get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So aside from the lovely podcast that we're all excited about.
And I got a new band.
Oh, you have a new band?
Yeah.
I've heard you kind of hint at that, if you're wanting to.
Well, I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's in the beginning
exciting.
stages. But yeah, I'm in it. And so it's so interesting how spirit works, because I wanted this new change in my life. And I started losing weight and exercising and running and getting healthy and building my stamina and spirit literally said to me months ago, it's because you're going to be doing music again. I go, that's hysterical. And then I got a call, and voila, here we are. So yeah, I'm gonna have a band on that. Yeah,
okay,
it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. So something that you have done off and on for many years is Faye the Tattooed Psychic.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm interested in knowing, like, when you started, like, knowing and understanding that that's what was happening, that spirit was talking to you. I don't
That's a
get
good
that
question.
myself personally. So, but I feel really open to spirit and I feel spiritual. But I don't feel like I have that. So when did you connect with that?
Oh man, okay, we're going there. Okay, okay.
Let's go there.
I was a child of severe abuse, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and what happened to me was we are all born to an open, infinite power. Okay, but human condition comes in, it shuts it off. But what I like to tell people is, no one cared about me enough to shut off my psychic ability. Like no one was paying attention that I was even using it to survive. Like I literally thought when I was talking to spirits that that's what everyone did to survive, because I thought I was being punished. This was a planet of punishment. At 5 years old, I thought this. And I was
Wow.
praying to God all the time to kill me. Like, I'm so sorry, God. I was apologizing to God because my childhood was so horrific. I remember saying, God, I'm so sorry if I hurt you. I please forgive me. And it was just, yeah.
At that age, yeah.
At that age. And my
Wow.
mom was not taking me to church. My mom was an alcoholic, and she was more in a bar than a church. So that the essence of God, the knowledge of God was just in me. I just knew. And then a voice would come to me and say, everything will be okay. This one day, all this will make sense. And and it went from there. So at a very young age, I had a connection with spirit to survive. And yeah. And then it just went from that, and my grandmother always told me I had the gift because it runs in my family. And I mean, it's such a long story, but I basically started talking to people passed on before I started using a psychic ability. So I was a medium before a psychic.
Okay.
So I was connecting with people passed on before I was able to connect with people's so-called future or whatever. I tell people I can't predict the future because they have free will. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's an interesting story because it's real, and now I see this younger generation who has a connection with spirit that, I mean, I'm mind blown because it's, in my generation, it was not accepted. Me being a medium I was a freak.
Right.
Now you got a 20-year-old medium and everyone's like, cool, I'm like, this is crazy, but this is the natural progression of society.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot more alternative, not only, going into the psychic era of that, but the medicines and the therapies and, the things that have developed. So it does seem like the natural.
But spirit helps us heal, and that's my point. And so I started my live show because my connection with spirit is really good. I mean, I am one of the best mediums you would ever meet. I mean, because, you guys, at 3 years old, I was connecting with spirits, and it never shut off.
Yeah.
Never.
So that is just so curious. It makes you wonder if, like, at that age, we, like you said, there wasn't anybody there to tell you not to do that, and you thought it was normal, right?
Right.
So it does seem like societally we get a little bit molded, if you will, so. So I've heard a rumor as far as when you work with people,
I love
that
rumors about me.
that you prefer not to discuss love with someone.
Well, it is funny, right? Because I am a love healer, but,
right?
Okay, I prefer not to discuss boyfriend girlfriend relationships. That's what it is. Like when I go on the radio or whatever, I and do readings. I do not do those readings. My gift is more for healing your trauma, getting you elevated to be your most powerful self. If a person has to come to a reader and ask if their partner is cheating, 99.9% yes, they are. Because we know. We know.
Yeah.
So I would rather somebody spend their money that they're spending on me and their time and my time, that I want my gift to be the best it can be for that person in front of me. And you do not, if you need to talk to your partner and solve that problem and not go, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
A psychic isn't going to fix your relationship. End of story.
Yeah. Only you, right?
Yeah.
And then I think, as with any types of advice, you have to want to change, and you have to want to make those changes and to even hear that advice.
Yes.
If you're not going to take action, and a lot of people don't want to take action, they kind of just want somebody to say, "Oh, this is going to magically happen."
I know I'm that way, right? I'm that way. But also
We all can
coming
be
to
that way.
Faye listen, we're making podcasts just about Faye's dating life because it is absolutely insane. And do not come to me for love advice because I am the typical empath narcissist dater. And not anymore because I broke that pattern. But for years I was. And so my other goal is to help women break that, especially empathic women and men, break that pattern of attracting the narcissist because it's so toxic for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I learned that lesson this year. And I'm very happy I did. Yeah.
I know you've talked about that with that.
Oh, my ears are ringing. Spirit's like, yes, you did. Yeah, I did. Thank you, Spirit, for that. Yeah.
One thing that I do enjoy is you doing your daily cards.
Yeah.
So that's something that if people haven't found you and followed you, they can look for you. I think it's Instagram, and it also does track over to Facebook.
Yeah.
The daily cards. Tell me a little bit about
Okay, well, I'm a believer in energy 100%. And I'm not a tarot reader per se, but, I like oracle cards. And so I use my oracle cards and I just draw an energy to focus on in the day. Because did you guys know that the first 20 minutes you're awake, your brain is in that alpha state where it can really start to create the power and use the power of the universe. So it's really important to do that. So if you're waking up and you're feeling like shit, or you're mad at someone, or I hate my job, or I hate my coworker, and you're already telling your brain you're going to have a shit day. You're telling your brain and body this is where it is. So a daily card for me is just, let's focus on this energy today instead of stress and worry. And a lot of people write to me, which is I think is interesting, and they say that card makes sense to them that day. Like I'm in that position right now.
Absolutely.
So. And I always, I'm always still, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm always still kind of blown away by Spirit because when people come up to me and say, oh, you gave me a reading and and it came true and or that reading changed my life. It's not to toot my horn, right? I just can't believe it. Like that spirit connection is so real. So I'm always excited still about it, even though it's been 30 years. It's like exciting to see the power of spirit, especially right now.
Yeah. Well, I know that I enjoy them, and that oftentimes it has been somehow a good message for me in my day as well. And that's why I like that you do those, because it's for kind of everybody, I guess, if you will.
For
like
everybody.
that.
We're all connected. We all share same energy, and that's why you guys can test yourselves on energy. You can be around someone who's very negative and toxic and feel that energy, and other people feel it. You don't have to be a psychic healer to feel energy and positive energy. So I'm all about focusing on more the positive, simply because I lived in the negative for so long.
Right.
Like it's a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
Bitter, anger, resentment, not being accountable for your own actions in your life, that kind of thing is not where I want to be. And I don't want, I also know what it's like to be unloved, and so I probably overlove. Yeah, I've had my friends say, Faye, tone it down. And I'm like, but I can't. Like, I really want to love these people,
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
But it's interesting because my new band is it's going to be a little heavier and darker. So people are going to get those two sides of Faye. But yeah.
You really can't have the light without the dark.
You can't.
It's there, and your story
and I am definitely
has
light and
all
dark.
of it.
Thank you for bringing
your story
this up.
has all of it.
It does, because
Most of our stories have all of it.
You bring this up because I do a lot of research on. I'm a big self-care, and self-aware more than anything. Because as a child who's been abused, we're hyper alert to our surroundings. By nature,
like as a safety.
And the first 1 to 7 years, let's talk about how I healed my trauma. See, I think that's the key. Okay, first 1 to 7 years, your brain is programmed to. That's how you're going to react the rest of your life. Basically, you're being taught by your parents, by your situation, first 7 years of your life. And
formidable, they call
yes,
it. Yeah.
and so that time it was my horrible time. I was abused, neglected, abandoned, whatever, blah blah blah. So my reaction throughout life has been that. So what I had to do was I thought for years I had to reprogram my emotions. No. And then I found Joe Dispenza, and it was reprogramming the brain. So long story short, I studied neuroplasticity. I rewired my brain, and that's how you do it, honestly, if you suffer severe trauma. And there's no other way.
Got to do that work.
I've done the work, and I'm telling you guys, like 100%, there is literally no other way, because I did it all. All right. I went to shaman camp. I call it a shamanic fist fuck, where I went in and I just had 9 shamans work on me, like, and and I've done everything, therapy, all of that, and nothing was resonating. Nothing. Drum circles, like, all this meditations, nothing worked until I combined that science with spirit method, where you study science, brain, energy, and spirit. And
Awesome.
Joe Dispenza, changed
That's
my
funny,
life.
because I was going to ask you. I've had you mention him, and I'm interested in kind of looking into that. So I'm glad you mentioned Joe Dispenza, because I know it's been a part of your journey. And when you say you have tried everything, I know another part of your journey is your recovery. You are sober, and that's been a struggle, because that's been a part of what you've used to, try to heal the
I
wounds.
had a bad day yesterday. It's even after 6 years, yesterday I had to call one of my dearest friends and say, fuck, I want to fucking drink right now. I'm having a real fucking hard time today. And I'm getting emotional about it. I honestly didn't start drinking, and that's another story. See, there's so much about Faye. Like, there really is. But I honestly didn't start drinking.
We'll have to have subsections.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so crazy.
quarterly.
when I tell my story to people, they're like, "Is this even real?" And my therapist starts crying. I mean, it's just crazy. But basically, I didn't start drinking heavily until my mid to late 30s, when my ex-husband tried to murder me, basically kill me. I mean, it's such a story. But anyway. And I became very depressed. I couldn't put my head on a pillow for 8 months. And I had body damage, brain damage. I still have some memory loss from it. But that being said, I started drinking a lot to numb the pain. And so 6 years ago, my son pretty much saved my life, kicked my ass, and reminded me of the warrior that I am. And I spent about 5.5 months in recovery, and dealt with some of that, but I still wasn't healed. I mean, I was just not gonna numb myself
You're no
anymore.
longer using
And when
something.
I look back, I would do a show when I did my live shows in Seattle and all over the country. I would instantly run to a drink after a show. And when I look back at that, that was because I felt so vulnerable, because I had just done this amazing thing for people.
Right.
But Faye was still fucked up. The tattooed psychic is so badass, you guys. She is fucking killer. But Faye had these issues of trauma.
That
I'm not
still
kidding
needed
you.
that
Yeah,
work.
like just so much abuse, And I'm just so proud. That's why this podcast has taken so long, because I had to be 100% authentic self before I could release myself to the world again, so they could see the healthier way spirit works, not the way that I wanted to be famous. And the tattooed psychic got famous. She had money. She had a book. She had documentaries. She, I would walk in a room, people go, I know who you are, but I don't know what you do.
How do I know?
Yeah, how do I know you? I'm like, I don't know, but and so I really don't go by her name anymore. It's just like my tag name for social media and stuff.
You may know me as, I've heard you say, yeah.
You may know me as, but I go by Faye now, because I am Faye.
Yes.
Fucking A, I'm Faye.
And she's worked to own it.
Yeah.
And I'm
The tattoo
I'm so
psychic
grateful.
was like my alter ego. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a great social media tag. I mean, I've had the name for 30 years, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as far as, the Seattle scene, I know that you have been out and about and getting into seeing live music again, which I know can be hard when you are sober. But I know myself, I go out and I don't have to be drunk for that.
I have more fun in life not drinking.
Right? And
swear
I
to
love
God,
that
my
you're
energy is
exploring and
high.
getting
I'm
out.
happy.
Yes.
I dance. I wish I could see more bands, but I have my favorites, you know.
Yep.
And you're gonna find me at those shows. That's just how it is. And
I'm sure that you'll be getting them on your podcast, so we'll all get to hear about them.
the Graceland Five. I mean, I know they've been around a long time in Seattle and all of that, but there's certain bands like the Scoffs, Graceland 5, and actually Nuck happens to be in both of those bands, so Nuck is clearly incredible. Mike Diffie from Graceland 5, you know, he just presents this positive energy. He's funny, he's kind. They're so kind.
Yeah, you can feel
you know?
that when they're up there. Like,
And you just want to dance with them, and their vibe is great, and it's just awesome. And so, yeah, Seattle has really great music.
Yeah, music and art. Last night I got to go see a great show at the Triple Door.
Art,
You know,
yes.
and the dance, the music, the theater, the cabaret, the yeah, it's just there's so much to explore and learn about. So I'm really
And
excited
that's what
that you're trying to get
And I'm
some of
surprised
these
more people aren't.
things to the forefront. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to help people promote themselves because one thing I've learned is we don't get anywhere in life unless we help each other, even through the darkest of times. You know, that's why I can get in an argument with somebody I care about and love and go, okay, that's cool, you know, as long as we can talk about these things irrationally. That's the human experience. Being spiritual, being a good person, being loving doesn't mean every day you're perfect. It doesn't mean every day, every argument you just stay zen, you know, especially especially Faye from the streets, you know. It's
I don't think I could hang with somebody that was perfect all the time.
It would drive me bananas.
I'd be like,
you know,
really?
I could never date a spiritual guy.
Ah.
Oh gosh.
You gotta be,
That would be like,
hey, at least you know.
I do. I think they would be too feminine for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a very masculine presence, and I need my partner to match that, you know. And another thing I'm going to bring up, because this is such a topic that people don't talk about, but I'm learning to talk about it, is bisexuality, right? Because I am bisexual, and this is it's such a weird space to be in sometimes, because my music friends and everyone, they're really heterosexual, you know?
Right.
So I don't talk about...
Many are.
But now, you know, I'm starting to talk with my friend about it, like, oh my God, I met this girl. I know she's probably straight, but my God, she's so hot. Like, I met this wonderful... Oh, she was so cute. Oh, last week I'm like, look at me. She flooded me.
She's Twitter pated.
I'm Twitter pated. But I know she's straight, you know, and it's hard. But now, you know, but you never know. She could be bisexual, right? You don't know. But so I'm meeting bisexual women, and I'm going to be introducing, you know, we're going to be talking about this subject, because it is, even in the gay community, we're shunned upon. So it's an interesting place to be.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people look at us and go, "Oh, you'll just fuck anything." No, it's a spirit, it's a presence someone has. Like, you're really hot.
It's a
You know what I mean? Like, I look at your body and I'm like, ooh. I'd like to play on that. But I'm not going to disrespect the boundary. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm married right now. I
Right.
mean, but I will say there was a time in my life when I was younger that I was polyamorous and practiced
I could never do
polyamory.
that.
And in
Bravery.
that, I had a couple of women that I found, you know, I was attracted to and felt love for. And it wasn't anything I seeked out. It just kind of happened. So I think it's very natural.
I think
and
so
if you
too.
allow yourself to be like, hey, I'm attracted to that person, and that's okay. I don't have to be attracted to any genital situation per se.
No, I fall in love, but
their spirit, their heart,
I find
as well as their beauty.
as I get older, and I find this, I've been studying this actually, women my age and probably in their mid 40s even, a lot of women start dating women. And I don't know if it's because men have just I don't know, but I think my generation of women, we weren't allowed to be bisexual.
It might be more of a like
Generational.
It's more accepted.
Yeah.
Generational, because now it is more accepted, if you will. Because I know there's still, you know,
And a lot of my
are
friends
places
say
where
I should
people
probably
don't feel.
be with a woman because of my energy. So who knows what will happen with Faye's dating life. But yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think Seattle Podcast will talk about all kinds of things, and I
Right.
can't wait. And I also, if you know any people in drag, I would really love to get in the drag community and promote some of them, and just, you know, everyone, because Seattle has so many cool people, even tech people. I want to interview a gamer because I know nothing of gaming.
Right.
Like, I have no idea what's going on.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah. So I think there's
yeah.
anybody who's in
I
Seattle.
remember
also,
Atari,
yeah. Pac-Man.
which really ages me.
And I'm interviewing.
I don't really care though.
Every month, I'm going to have a segment where I interview somebody who located to Seattle, like from New York or a lot of people from New Orleans are moving here, so that kind of thing. It's going to be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I like the diversity of it. You're not necessarily putting any kind of certain label on it. It's not just about this thing, that
not
thing,
just
or
the
the
music
other.
scene, yeah.
It's just kind of about Seattle and trying to maybe thaw
And we knew
the freeze.
Then
We knew they were going to be loud.
We knew that. And
We're
I
in
was like,
Granite
I hope they
Falls.
are.
They can ride ATVs
Granite
and
Falls
stuff
rules.
as well out on this. It's street legal in Granite Falls to ride your little ATVs.
Can I tell you an ATV story that I've done all over the country. I used to get in my car and drive. Okay, this is why I'm talking ATVs. This is a story I can probably tell you 5 people I remember in my life that changed me. I'm in Whitefish, Montana.
Wow, I've heard that's beautiful.
I pull up into a bar. On the bar, it says a note with a knife. It was just when the cigarette laws passed, so this was years ago.
Oh, right.
And it's our God-given right to smoke if we want to. Okay, and I'm like, okay, I'm going in this bar because, yeah. And ATVs, all in the front. All in the front. So I go in there, and everyone's kind of looking at me because it's like a cabin bar, and I'm clearly standing out, okay? Clearly don't belong in this environment.
By yourself in the...
But the girl bartender had a couple tattoos, so she was just into me.
Yeah.
She was like, "You're so cool," and I'm sitting there, and but in my here, because you remember I'm hypersensitive. I go into a place, I'm instantly picking up energies, and in the background I hear this man speaking, and he's just very loud, and I instantly go, "Oh, he's a vet. I can tell. You can just tell," and I'm here at this bar, and he's over here. All of a sudden, and this is years ago, it's so powerful, this moment. He comes over to me, and he rubs my tattoos, and I'll tell you why he did that in a minute. But he rubs my tattoos, and he goes, "So who are you?" And I said, "Well, sir, I'm just a traveler. I found this spot. I was thirsty. I wanted a beer. This is when I drank. And I'm just visiting this establishment." And he looks at me, and he goes, "They made me kill people when I was 18 years old." And then he went to punch me. And I was sitting there just keeping this spirit because he needed to talk to someone about this. Clearly, years later, he was in his older than me. And and everyone in the bar is like, "Dan, no, don't hit her, Dan."
Oh, no.
And I said, "Hey, Dan, that's your name." I'm getting emotional. Fuck. I go, "Dan, that's your name, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Dan, how about instead of hitting me, you give me a hug?"
There you go.
And that man fell into my chest and cried. But the reason I tell that story, because he affected me so much, because the power of war on someone's soul.
Right.
But he needed that so badly. And I think that's, even though I don't have love in my life like you do, a happy husband and beautiful home and all of that, I have this ability to give love to people who really need. I didn't mean for this to go all emotional, but to really need it. And that's something I think it took me a long time to accept. That how could I be so unloved but give so much love?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I am loved.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you now are able to accept that.
Yeah.
That you are
Yeah.
and feel that. But
Sorry,
also,
I got emotional, but I do that a lot. I cry a lot.
You feel it deeply.
I do.
Which I love
I do.
about you, for sure.
I mean, I'll be telling you a story and I will just start sobbing because I just remember
That feeling and
yeah,
intensity.
because I was just like, he just needs love so bad and I'm just going to let him do it. Like, it doesn't even matter. Then he just got up and walked away. It was just, I had a woman in one of my shows, a girl had brought her mother who spoke very little English to my show, and in the middle of me speaking in my show, the mother stood up and just came running at me and wanted me to hold her. And her daughter was like, Mom, no. And I was like, no.
You're like, I get it.
Yeah, we're stopping the show. This woman needs love. We're doing this now. So
yeah,
I think that's the power we have as people. And I think that I can bring that power to Seattle and connect people and help businesses and promote show. I don't know.
Well, if
Maybe
anybody
I'm dreaming
can, I
big.
mean,
I don't know.
You've come from such a dark place, and to still want to love. I think of it as like possibly similar to some kids grow up with smoking and drinking in their lives, and they end up drinking and smoking heavily. Some kids end up saying, I am not doing that. That was not what I want in my life. And they became the opposite. Yeah. So I wonder, if it's because it's the opposite of what you had for a big part of your life. So you're like, I know how that feels. I want to be the opposite of that. And so I think it's beautiful that you're
I said when I
be.
had my kids, I would never deny them love. And I overloved my first son.
Helicopter?
That poor kid, I'm shocked. He still loves me as much as he does, but he sends me texts, you're beautiful, Mama. I love you every fucking day, So I know I did something right because I raised two beautiful kids. And I swore I'd never be my mother. I swore my children would never, ever feel that I never loved them.
Yeah.
So I overcompensated a bit. My second daughter, I learned a little bit, okay, I have to let her have some freedom, but my son, no. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It was bad. Yeah. Poor kid.
Lucky him. He suffered so badly. Being loved
love.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my dream is to connect and keep growing myself and be more loving and kind in the world and forgiving. Yeah. Because, and some people also question how you can be happy when the politics are so rough and bad. And I just want to say that I want to teach people this, okay? This is a gift from Spirit to you right now as we close this out. You control this amount of space in your life, and that's it. And the sooner you realize that, once you pass this palm, you control nothing. And the sooner you realize that, the easier your life gets, and the more you want this space to be sacred and loving, because it's all you
care
have.
For that space.
Yeah. So learn that. Well,
Beautiful.
Thanks for talking. This was fun.
Well, and I hope that our little motorcycle friend didn't ruin our our audio.
Nothing can ruin
because we
it.
really needed to be by the river today.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I'm so glad you're
blessed.
able to come out. And thank you for having me do this with you.
Yeah, and let's tell people we're going to be doing a monthly segment where we connect and just talk girl talk.
Right?
Right.
Girl
so
talk.
That's going to be fun too.
Nice.
I like
we'll
girl
have to
talk.
have tea or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Wear bonnets.
But you know what?
Or not bonnets, but hats.
And we have to dress to the T.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Because we're girls and we like it.
It's girl talk. Rhinestones.
Awesome.
All right. Check out the Seattle Freeze podcast. I'll be your host, Faye West.
Check out Faye.
If you want to be a guest, email me, sfreezepodcast@gmail. That's S, the letter S, freezepodcast@gmail.com. And I will come to you and we can just do what we just did right now. Love y'all.
She's a blessing to me, and you will love getting to know the badass Faye.
Woohoo! Love you all. Have a beautiful day. Be kind to each other. You don't know what people have been through. You don't know what they're going through. So be kind.
Yep.
Love ya.